Hello and welcome to the Crowdfunding Academy online training. My name is Rawad Reza and I'm a crowdfunding expert at UNDP. Today we'll start with an introduction to crowdfunding, exploring the different types that exist and looking at the advantages or benefits and disadvantages of using crowdfunding. So the concept of crowdfunding is simple: people funding other people. So what's crowdfunding? It's a way of raising money for a specific project from a large crowd of people. But it's not just about raising the funds. It also allows people to come together and support causes they truly believe in. So crowdfunding opens up a new source of financing, but it also gives a chance for you to pitch your idea to a wider audience of backers. These backers can support your campaign through donations and expect nothing but a thank you message from your side. But they can also receive rewards, perks, interest, or even equity in the business of you, in your business or your project. Which leads us to the types of crowdfunding that exist. We have 4 different types. So we'll start with the first one, which is donation-based. In this type of crowdfunding, backers get nothing but good karma in exchange for supporting your project. It's usually used by humanitarian organizations, individuals, charities, and nonprofit. And the goal is to raise funds for either a personal cause, let's say someone needs an operation at the hospital, or it could be for a community-based project, such as installing solar PV for a village. So the advantages of using such type of crowdfunding is that it relies only on people's goodwill. So you don't need to provide anything in return for the financial support they're providing. But the disadvantage is that usually the financial target that you're reaching is low when you're working on a donation-based crowdfunding campaign. But in many cases, if your campaign is good and if it goes viral, then you might raise more than what you're looking for. The second type of crowdfunding campaign is called rewards-based. In this type of crowdfunding, backers expect to receive a non-financial reward in return for their support. And by non-financial reward, we mean goods or services. But this comes at a later stage after the campaign. In this type of crowdfunding campaigns, you can raise more funds than a donation-based campaign, and you'll be able to build your community of supporters. It's also a good way for people to test the idea. So if you have an idea and you want to pilot it, you can use crowdfunding to see if people are liking your idea. The disadvantage of this type of campaign is that you really need to reach your financial target in order to implement your idea. So if you set a target and you only reach, let's say, 50% of that target, there's a risk that you will not be able to deliver. It's also kind of risky when you're offering physical products. So if you're manufacturing them and shipping them, there could be a cost incurred with that and probably delays. So make sure that if you're promising to deliver a physical product, that you're able to do it on time and that the cost is acceptable. Our third type of crowdfunding is called crowd lending or peer-to-peer lending or marketplace lending. In debt-based crowdfunding platforms, businesses or individuals receive money from a large number of people with a promise to pay them back with interest rate. So this is similar to going to a bank. So if you need a loan, you go to a bank, you ask the bank for the loan. If the bank accepts, they give it to you. You give the money back over time with interest rate. The difference is that you're using here a crowdfunding platforms or peer-to-peer lending one, and you're getting your money from a large number of people. So it's not just from one entity, but a group of people, and you have to give that money back with interest rate. Usually the interest rate in crowd lending is higher than the one for a bank, but the advantage is that the process is easier, faster, simpler. And there's also even if it's easy, it doesn't mean that it'll be accepted. So if you look at the peer-to-peer lending platforms, not all applications are accepted. The last type of crowdfunding is crowd investing. So equity-based crowdfunding allows backers to become, let's say, partner or part owners in a company or a startup. Each investor will be entitled to a stake in the company, which is proportional to their investment. So this form of crowdfunding works best with growth-focused companies in areas where there's a significant potential for returns. So it has to be appealing to those investors. And it's mostly used for startup and early-stage companies. So in this type of crowdfunding, project owners can get larger sums without having to give immediate returns. The return can come at a later stage. And you're having more freedom in managing your company, but you're still giving away part of that company. The most important part is that you look at the legalities and the regulations in the countries where you're residing, in the country where you're residing. In some countries, this type of giving out shares to non-public companies is not allowed. So you have to look very carefully at the regulations. So why is crowdfunding important? Well, we're all looking for some funding to be able to implement our projects. So it allows us to reach that large number of people and quickly raise the funds that we need for our cause. But it's not just about the financial aspect of it. There's an important aspect, which is the visibility and building the community of backers beyond just the funding that they're giving. So some tips to run a successful crowdfunding campaign: you need to set a realistic fundraising goal. So if your financial target is high, there's a risk that you'll not reach it. But if it's low, there's also the risk that you'll not be able to implement. So setting a realistic goal is very important. Take your time in defining your goal. You also need to create a really compelling campaign. So your campaign should stand out, because there are plenty of campaigns there. And a lot of people just every day creating campaigns, publishing them online. So why should these backers or donors select your campaign? Because it's compelling, because it's standing out. So what kind of tools do we have to promote our campaign? Social media, I would say, is the most important tool. Use your social media channels, be very active, post all the time, so you can reach a wider target audience. And you need to keep them informed. So any progress that's happening in terms of the funds that are raised and the implementation of the project, you need to keep them, you need to have a transparent relationship with these donors and keep them informed all the time. So which platforms to choose? During the training, we will go over the criteria to select the best platform for your campaign. There are plenty of platforms there. A lot of them are really good, but you need to choose the right one for your project or your idea. So we're going to go over a few successful campaigns that we had at UNDP. This one is from Lebanon, which happened after the Beirut port blast, where the target was to raise $48,500 to procure assistive devices. And by assistive devices, I mean wheelchair and walkers for the people affected by the blast. Only $21,500 were raised online, which is almost less than half of the budget. But then offline contribution came after the campaign ran. One from an agency, a French agency, and another big amount came from the country office and with a partnership with ESCWA. So the campaign was launched on November 2021 until March 2022, and the final amount raised was close to $850,000. Another successful campaign in the Philippines, which ran from 15 July to 31 December 2020. And the goal or objective of the campaign was to secure field allowances and food packages for 6 months for 33 people who are protecting buffaloes in the area. So the financial target was $22,980. The initial target was met, and also 140% of that target was raised. So the final amount was around $26,000. These were just 2 examples out of many in UNDP. We hope that your campaign will be also successful. Thank you for your time, and goodbye.